Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Don't Forget to Tap. This is Chris. And for this episode, I wanted to call it Going All In. And I'll kind of give you some context as to what that is. Again, so I started jujitsu a couple months ago, and it has been a huge transformation process for me. And so much so that I fell in love with it to the point that I decided to make a podcast about my growth through this process. And I realized in the introduction when I was going back and checking out some of my own episodes and everything, I never gave a lot of context as to some of the motivation behind it, right? I kind of talked about I have a background in it and some, my passion for martial arts and everything. But and when I say background, I mean martial arts. I have no background in jiu-jitsu whatsoever. And so um, going backwards a little bit, and I'm gonna go backwards in order to go forwards. In my 20s, I feel like, like many people do, you experiment and you kind of just check out what you like, what you don't. You're still, it's crazy looking back. I'm 32 years old. Looking back in my 20s, how much I didn't know about myself, but how sure of myself I was. And that's the scary part is I thought that I knew exactly who I was, exactly what I wanted my life to be like. And don't get me wrong, I enjoyed every second of who I was along that process, the growth journey, the stories, the memories, the people. That stuff really that's what life is all about at the end of the day, is the amazing people that you get to interact with, the experiences. But, you know, um, I, there's this time in your life, it's kind of this crossroads of who you want to be, if you will. And so I told myself, when you're in your 20s, especially your early 20s, 30 just seems so old, and 40 is might as well just mail it in. And then you get to 30 and you're like, oh, I'm still young, I still got it. Until you wake up after a good training session from jiu-jitsu, and then you're like, I'm gonna take a little bit longer to recover from this than I might have at 18 to 25 or something like that. But so in my 20s, I was very much discovering who I was. I was trying to figure out, what I wanted out of life and everything. And I set these goals, and I really had a hard time sticking with goals. And it's not for a lack of effort or will or anything like that. It's just because I changed my mind a million times because I kept changing my course, my direction. And people do that all the time. I'm probably still going to be doing it in my 30s. But the big difference in my 30s, especially my late 20s and my 30s, is you have a much more cement idea of who you are and what you want, right? So, a good example of that, when I met my wife, like, it was cemented in my world, my reality, that that person had to be a part of my life, and that there was no other direction in that. And so in my 20s, there was a lot of other circumstances in that too. I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew I wanted to get in martial arts. I knew that I wanted to get really active in music with, my guitar and everything like that. And I did for a little bit, and each of those things in increments, right? I tried doing a variation of martial arts, and in their own respects, they were great. But I just kept kind of redefining who I wanted to be, so I never stuck with any of them. And then, so I think it was when I hit 29, and I was about to go into 30, and I kind of had this little freak out moment, right? Like a pre midlife crisis, if you will, because I guess you have that at like 40s, 50s, whatever. And I had this pre midlife crisis about, like, oh my God, I'm going to be 30 and I haven't accomplished anything. And that really freaked me out. It like really, really messed with me that I didn't have the schooling done that I wanted. I didn't have, um, you know, the black belt that I said I wanted to have. And and that's a whole different concept to everything. And now knowing what I know now, it's really irrelevant. But the long story short is that, in my 20s, I made a lot of great friends. I accomplished a lot of great things. I have some really cool stories, but I didn't really actually accomplish any measurable goals. And so when I turned 30, I made this commitment that I was going to go all in, that I was going to get super heavy invested in school, which I did. I just finished up a quiz, a paper, and some discussion posts, and winding down this class, and I'm going to kick off two more in a couple weeks. And I took my time getting into jujitsu because I didn't know at the time that I was looking for jujitsu. But a friend of mine just got their black belt in a different form of martial arts. And so I saw that, and it's been lingering in the back of my head like, okay. And I made a promise to this person that I wasn't going to give up. I was going to seek this out, and I was going to find a way to fulfill that and find, that fulfillment in myself as well. And so fast forward a couple of years, and here I am, and I'm super heavy into school. I'm working on that. I'm going to keep going with that. And I, was so fortunate. I will never stop saying this. How fortunate I was to come across jujitsu, and it started with an email, and it has led to one of the greatest communities and some of the best friends that I've really made in the years I've been alive. In all honesty, and so I'm really grateful for that. And so I here recently, I've just kind of been evaluating where I'm at, what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. Because I'm a big believer in blind spots. And if you're not looking for your own blind spots, then you'll continue to kind of go through and have your blind spots. And you're ignorant to the things that you don't know about yourself. And so I've kind of been looking at it, and I'm very, 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 very fortunate that I have an individual who's incredibly experienced in jiu-jitsu, who's taking the time with me formally each day to actually go over techniques and drill and drill and drill and drill and drill, and has motivated me to get into it. And we didn't know, we've known each other for a little bit now. We didn't know that I didn't know this individual was in jiu-jitsu. And I think they, not that I've been in it long, a couple months, but once they discovered I was in it, they instantly took to me and were like, hey, I want to help you. I want to make you great at this, and in turn it's going to make me great at this, and it's going to help me learn to teach, and it's going to help refine my techniques, and I'm going to help you refine your techniques. And it's so this person's kind of taken a coach role for me and become a coach for me. And I want to get him as a guest on here, and really just kind of share some of his experiences, because he's crazy experienced, and he's going to be super humble about it, but very, very experienced. And I've got another individual who is going to be able to teach me some things. So to get that one-on-one training from a coach on an individual level is so great. I'm so thankful for it. I just want to learn everything I can about this culture and this incredible art that we know as jujitsu. And again, I've fell in love with it a couple months ago, and I just wanted to go all in on it. And so a little bit ago, after school, or after I was finishing up my papers and everything for school and college, I was on my jujitsu facilities. I studied Gracie Baja, and I was on their website, and I was looking because there was just a couple updates to the class schedule and everything. And I looked at it, and I was like, man, so I typically, have been going 2 days a week, and I'm not going to lie to you. I am sore as hell after each class. And again, it comes back to the last episode of power versus technique, and just going out there and trying to muscle my way through. So I've continuously got to work on that. And I remind myself of that all the time. Um, but I'm so sore after every class, but I got to quit using that as a crutch. It's just this dumb excuse that I have. So I was looking at the class schedule, and I was looking at it, and I was like, man, they've got so many opportunities. If I wanted, I could go like 8 times a week and train jujitsu. I'd be doing a lot of washing of the gi. I actually, and that's another thing, is that I want to purchase another gi. Um, and I just so I can kind of like let one go into the washer, and I have a fresh one ready, kind of thing. But just to have that opportunity to do that, and I can go, with my current skill level, I can go potentially 8 times a week, and I'm going twice, right? And So it kind of brought me back, and I'm sitting here and I wanted, to make an episode and everything, and I was gonna kind of go a different direction, but I was really just kind of mad at myself. I was like, I'm going twice a week and I have so many opportunities to go and do more. And I'm complaining that I'm not growing, I'm not getting, more and that I want to out of myself, really. I have phenomenal, just epic professors and coaches. And now I've got individuals that are investing in me and really drilling technique with me and teaching me a lot of stuff. And I'm getting ready to hit the road this week, and I'm going to go train in Pennsylvania in a jiu-jitsu and a judo facility. And I'm super gonna very, very humbled to have that opportunity. But I expect a lot out of myself in this. And again, I want to go all in. I fell in love with this, so why am I not giving it more? And it kind of is a simple question, but a very complex answer, but yeah, a very simple answer. And what I mean by that is that, I'm sitting here and I'm complicating in my head and everything. But at the end of the day, it's just going. And, it's something that I've heard on other pages. I'm a big, big fan of the social media platform, the podcast, My White Belt. And in that, one of his professors or one of his coaches that he, references is that, con, you know, really good jujitsu. I'm gonna mess this up, but really good jujitsu, really complex jujitsu is just really basic jujitsu done over and over and over and over and over. And so I've got to bring that element into it. I've got to go all in on this, and I think that applies to everything. Like I said, going back, I'm in my 30s, and I want all these things. I have made an absolute resolve that I'm going to get a PhD. Super far away from that. In fact, I've actually taken a pretty big step backwards in that process and able in order to move forward towards the things that I want. Because I was moving towards college and I was really, really close to being done. And that's what everybody says. I'm so close to being done, whatever. But I actually did the thing that they advise you not to do, and I switched my degree type, and it put me back. It put me back like God, it put me back like 40 something credits, I think. And so it's pretty bad. But the thing is the degree that I was really close to getting wasn't in something that I wanted to get in. It was simply just checking a box saying I had a degree, whatever. But if I'm putting all this work into it now, I want it to be something I'm passionate about. So I switched to project management, right? I love project management. I love coming in. I love trying to improve things, help people through the process, help meet timelines, and find efficient ways to do it. I'm also working on a personal certification to be able to help with that. And that kind of focuses on like the Lean Six Sigma of it all and everything. And so I really have just kind of taken that approach that I'm 100% willing to step backwards in order to move forwards. I think that's really, really important. And that's what jujitsu is for me too, is that no matter how far I'm getting, I have to be willing to take a step back. And so the coach that I'm working with on an individual level, that I'm never going to stop saying enough about how grateful I am for that time to do that. Every single day we plan on meeting and just drill, 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 and get better and more effective and learning these techniques. And then and it is going to help him teach them and everything, and probably be able to kind of walk through his own techniques. But he's just crazy good at it, and I feel so humbled and so grateful to have that opportunity. But um so it's going all in on these techniques and going all in and showing up to class, going all in on papers, going all in what you say you want to do. So if you say you're going to do something, if you're passionate about it, and if you truly mean that, you got to go all in. And that applies to all aspects of your life. It can't just be I want to do this, I want to look cool, I want to wear sweatshirts that say this, I want people to know I do jujitsu, whatever. No, it's a culture. It's about representing the people before you, and I take this so serious. If and I'll try to keep this short. But one thing I really appreciate about jujitsu, just like I do many things in my life, is I think of the people before me that I know do jujitsu, and the amount of sweat and blood and broken bones and soreness and sacrifice that has gone on these mats for me to be able to go and train, and all I'm putting out is 2 days a week. That's not acceptable. And so I have to honor that, and I have to go out and I have to do more, and I want to go all in on that process. And so that's going to be a huge challenge for me. Next or this coming week, I'm obviously going to be traveling, but after that, and I'm still going to train while I'm traveling. And I'm again very humbled that I get to go around the nation and train at these gyms. And I hope to meet incredible people and pick up something from everywhere I go, and hopefully get a picture so I can look back at all the people that invested in me, so that I may one day may be able to invest in others. And that's the whole point of this podcast, is so that I can share something, my growth, my journey, my documentation of this process with somebody else, and maybe help them along the way. Maybe it's going in the door like the first episode, or maybe it's when you get really frustrated and you want to quit, but maybe this would be the thing that would keep you from doing that. So going all in is really important. And the people that have sweat and put their heart and soul into this so that other people can learn this incredible art form of culture and athleticism and just everything. It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. And even on the people I know and for the people that I don't, there's so many that have gone before me in doing this process. And so I want to honor that. I want to go all out, be incredibly humble every single time I step on the mat, and just a constant reminder that ego stays at the door. Ego really has no place in your life, but if you have one, it definitely can't come on the mats, because no matter how good you think you are, there's always going to be somebody better. And for me, it doesn't take much because I'm not that good at all. So pretty much everybody's better than me right now, but you only get better by showing up to each and every opportunity you get to train. And I haven't been taking care or taking that opportunity to train. And so that's a huge challenge for me. That's a huge challenge I dare, or I put out for you guys, is if an opportunity is out there for you to put all you have into something and go all in, and don't pass up that opportunity, because there's people before you in everything that you do that have put their life, their blood, their sweat, and their soul into that. And don't take that for granted. It may be easy now, but it's easy now because it was hard for them, and it can get hard for you if you don't honor that by taking it laxity, being lazy about it, and not honoring the sacrifice that comes with it. So, I love jujitsu. It's a lot of hard work. It humbles me. It brings me peace. It makes me feel a sense of camaraderie that is very, very important to me. And I honor the legacy of the people that have come before me. I'm so grateful to my coaches. I'm so grateful to my professors, both in the gym and out of the gym, because they've sacrificed so much for me to be able to have an understanding of what this culture is really about. And I'm still very much learning in that process. So, with that being said, thank you guys for listening. I hope that this is a inspirational episode for you guys. Can't wait to do the check-in on you guys. The Wednesday check-ins are a little bit more simple, a little less jujitsu, but a little bit more the people aspect of things. Because if you're not doing all right, you're not going to be all right on the mat or off the mat. And being okay off the mat is what leads to you having really great success on the mat. And so again, thank you for listening to my journey, my humble beginnings. Still getting my butt handed to me, but that's all right. And I'm thankful for that, and the opportunity to come out and train every opportunity. So, with more classes gives more content, which gives more episodes. So, you guys will probably be hearing a lot more of me, even more than you already do. So, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys are doing really well out there, and we'll see you next time.